Let me give you a little trivia here for you guys that might like to know. Uchi means inner. Mata does not mean thigh. The word momo means thigh. Okay? Like, big deal, but it's true. I'm a geek on this stuff, so bear with me. Mata means like the middle of something, like the fork in the road. The branch.
Down the middle Uchi Mata, okay? Now, there are several kinds, a couple basic kinds. The leg style, this is more of a hip style Uchi Mata. But think not so much hips, as more lift. I want this as hikite here, this lifting hand, this pulling hand, I should say. That pops him up, and the right hand, your surinte, your pulling hand, sucks them into you. So you don't want a lot of gap in here. Now, okay, got that? Now, see the distance here? This is really good even if guys are bent over, but it's pretty well put right. Now watch. All Derek wants to do is get his right foot out of the way. Just put it there. That's enough. Just as long as he can get that turn with a back step in super deep. That back step's going to be super deep. Now he's doing real slow. But see how deep that is? You've got to be that deep. Then, as soon as you get that super deep split between the legs, you pop them with the Uchi Mata. You can shoot the tank with your right leg. So go ahead and toss it once. That's it. See how literally you split the guy in half. You're coming a straight line down the middle. He is that axis. Here it is, right here. Now, watch this guy. This is where it's really, I like to refer to it as a fast foot Uchi Mata, because as soon as you plant your left leg, your base leg, or your driver leg, as soon as that happens, you've got to substitute by your sweeping leg, your attacking leg, okay? Now watch how he does it again. Another comes in. It's not a slow move. You've got to split it. This is, Uchi Mata means, you know, inner thigh, but it's like, here's the fork in the road, and here's the middle of it. You want to split them right down the middle. That's what it is, splitting them right down the middle. Like a branch of a tree. That's why it's Uchi Mata. Okay? So let's look at it one more time, and then we're going to do some Uchikomi drills. We're going to have you practice it. He swings in, but did you see that foot that right foot just got out of the way? Don't make a big step like this. It's too exaggerated. He's not stupid. He's not going to fall for that. Okay? Here's your setup with your hands. This is your hands are so important. You pop them up, get your foot out of the way, and drive in and bang in. You sit down, just do the Uchikomi and you pick them up. Now watch where Uchikomi at first. See that? The way he's practicing, he's coming up and he's really riding him on his hip. He's riding him on his hip. His buttocks at his hip. See that? So you see he's pulling them at the same time. But see how he's trying every time. He's got to get that fast foot action. He's got to get the base leg of the driver leg in. As soon as it pops really deep, then he swings. Watch how he's got to get to the fast foot. If he doesn't, it doesn't work. That's how quick it's got to be. Okay? When you finish, now in a real fight or something, you may roll through what's called makikomi, or winding through with it. But try to finish in a fairly good, upright, and stable position. Don't, you're not going to stand there and look like rigid, but try to finish where you can balance on one leg. That way, you have the option of, if you need to go to the ground to get him in a arm lock or choke or something, you can do that, or pin. But you don't necessarily have to fall on him and land on him every time. Now, you may have to in a real situation, but try not to in practice, because you didn't know that again. Where you just try to stay balanced. See that? Yeah, just step over. You have to step over the guy and do so. And you want to throw him and step over him or whatever. Finish as upright as you can, but don't ever pull up. You want to throw him for your pawn. You want to slam him. Make sense? One more time, just finish. Nice step right, and he steps over. Yeah, just step over the guy. Okay, let's work on that. 5 each, which we can use too, and it's a very effective one. I know Mike was saying this is his preference for doing Uchi Mata, and some of the other guys have different preferences. We're going to work on this leg style Uchi Mata, and I would also venture to say, guys, and a lot of your coaches, this is a good one to teach new people. Okay, so you're going to learn Uchi Mata, and you'll really pick it up from that drill. Okay, it's an easier way to learn it, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's very effective. But we'll start with it. Let's think about the grips. One low grip. So Derek's going to do a righty style Uchi Mata apparently, and he's got a low grip with his left hand on the sleeve. Okay, it's a longer grip. The longer grip being he's not grabbing up and controlling the shoulder so much. He has a long arm here. Okay, his other hand could be where he likes it set. He likes a lapel. You might grab around the side. For tonight, let's grab around the side. And he's controlling, and again, just like he's looping the belt over him, okay? So you can see how he's just kind of like he's put a belt or a rope around Mike. He's got a low grip here on the sleeve. He's got a good grip here, okay? And he's just really tying it. So he's killing the shoulder here, and he's really killing the arm here, right? Now, his stance, his initial stance is really essential. So he's sugar-footing a little bit with his right foot, and he's going to have it kind of inside Mike's foot if he can when he's working the guy, because he's going to be spinning around real deep with his left. So he's on his foot here. This is a pivot foot, okay? So he's going to pivot that, and he's going to swing his back leg, his left leg, back around real far. As he does this, he's pulling here, and he's driving here. So he's controlling both the low part of the body and the upper part of the body too, okay? Now, when he does this, his right foot, as he comes in, he's going to point and he's going to sweep. He may hit high, he may hit low. It really, you'll find with practice you'll have a preference, but you know, we'll see what Derek does here. So good. And there's a clean Uchi Mata. He clocked it. In Judo, that would have been pawn. Sambo, certainly a 4-pointer. If he had stayed up with it, would have been total victory. So it's a clean throw. But look how he's sugar footing. He's got a low sleeve grip. He's got control up here. He's controlling. That's good Kazushi, good management of his opponent's balance. Now, in good stance. Now, when he comes in, that back leg, I can't stress enough, that back leg has to swing in hard, at least parallel to Mike. So it's back out there. See how that left foot is out there? That's the driving leg. That's what Jeff Gleason famously called the driving leg. Okay. Now with his right foot, his attacking foot, he points it and he sweeps. And it could be sweep low, could be sweep high. He even might even sweep Mike's other leg, but generally he'll sweep the close leg to him. Okay, take a look at it again one more time. Boom, like that. Good control. Did he land on? Didn't need to, you know, but you might land on if you do roll over. Okay, so one more time, see the low grip, the good long grip here, and as he does it, he constantly pulls, he spins about, and it's a fast whipping, it's a whipping movement with the leg, okay? You're not loading him up at all. What you're doing, you're spinning and catching and whipping movement. The other style, the more of the leg, or the hip style Uchi Mata, very classic Uchi Mata, again, it's a good one, that's where you load them up, okay, more the traditional Judo style Uchi Mata. This you'll see a lot. This style of Uchi Mata you see a lot with guys like in sambo, who are really low slung guys, and you know they don't have the upright posture as much as you see in a judo contest. Okay, so this really is effective, and it's effective for you know, if you fight a lot of submission grappling, you know, gi grappling or even gi grappling, BJJ. If they're really low, this is a good way to slam them, get some big points, get them on the ground and nail it. Some of you guys already do it really well. But let's work on that. You know, here's the good advice. If you got a really good Uchi Mata, like James, you got a really classic Uchi Mata, it's a good move. On right, like Kenny Brink, he was an Uchi Mata guy. He had a right Uchi Mata that was classic. His left Uchi Mata, which he threw a lot of guys' left Uchi Mata, was this. So he had a right Uchi Mata that was totally different from his left Uchi Mata. And he trained that way. And he won a lot of matches, both right or left with Uchi Mata. It's still the same throw, just slightly variation differences there. So makes sense, guys? Eric's going to be bending over, and Derek. Now remember, whatever grip you use, you want to control with your elbows. So he's using this. In this particular case, he's getting a good back grip here. Okay. Like Nick, I know where's Nick. Nick, you like up here more of a sleeve grip. You might play with that, but remember when you do that, you're going to have to lift your elbow up. See how you lift and drive with your elbow. But it is better if you can get around the side and control the back of the shoulder here. And the other arm, he's either just grabbing his arm, it could be it had his lapel, but generally by having this type of thing, we talked about earlier about looping a belt over him, that type of thing. Look, he's got a hand here, he's got a hand here. So he's got a hand on the right shoulder and part of the body, and he's got his left hand on a low sleeve grip. He's got, you know, kind of a longer grip, okay? So this works really well for this type of attack, so this type of Uchi Mata, because often you have a lot of space between you and your opponent. Notice how he's all bent over at the hips. He thinks he's safe, and this is, you know, a fallacy on his part, actually. Now, to set this up, Derek wants to sugar foot. He wants his foot meeting his opponent's, his right foot meeting his opponent's left foot, because what he's going to do, he's going to come in an angle, and when he comes in, he's going to sweep and he's going to catch the inner thigh right about here.
when he comes in. So just watch him do it, and okay, just go ahead and toss him once. So everybody see that? Comes in, and it looks like this classic Uchi Mata, like it's great. But it looks like he was jumping for him. It wasn't. This really works. Step in, good. Now you see, Derek made a point. He stepped across the body, but look what he did with his toe. He stepped out so he had a good base. Step out. See that? Okay. That's from his time training with Jim Bregman. Yeah, that's a Jim Bregman thing there. Thank you, Jim, by the way.
Thank you very much, Jim.
So watch how he does that. He steps. See that? And watch him lift. Well, he was being nice. You're being too nice to him. We're going to take it. Yeah, watch him step. You see how he slides that in? It's a side step. He doesn't expect to go sideways and get tossed. Earlier we were drilling on those side grips and drills. This is why I'm leading into this. So watch how he, Sugarfoot's here. Now watch with that left foot when he steps across. See that? Now his hips are almost in position. Now he's ready to just shoot and lift. And as you notice what he did with his right foot, he pointed his toe, and his toe was up, almost like a ballet dancer. All right? He didn't need to roll. He could roll over on him, Makakomi, or wind him through, but he likes his partner. Okay, in this particular. But you could if you had to. Okay. In this case, oh, he wants to go with an arm lock. Yeah. You might have to roll over and finish through too. It depends on the situation. It's a very competitive situation, whatever. But notice the grip. He beats him at the grip. He beats him at the posture. Now look he's bent over. He thinks he's safe. Look at his posture. Is he bent over? No. He's flexed, but his back is straight. He's leading with his hips. Now look at that foot. And when he steps across, see how his foot was already in place? It's what I've heard called a one-step Uchi Mata. Okay, it's a one-step Uchi Mata, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so aren't you glad Mike's not here and you get to do all this? Yeah, lucky you. Yeah. All right, you want to try that? So it's a side Uchi Mata, and that's what it is with a leg stop. All right, now Uchi Mata variation of it, it's Uchi Mata Makakomi. Okay, and what he's going to do is do the same thing, Soto Makakomi type thing, ripping up here, but instead of Harai, he's going to do Uchi Mata, which he tends to like better anyway, so it's kind of a natural thing. Some of you may find it natural. So go ahead and do your thing. Oh, there you go. So an Uchi Mata variation of it, there you have it there. So let's look a couple more times. See that? And again, you may see this, and somebody just call it an Uchi Mata in a judo tournament or, some type of a BJJ or some kind of, whatever tournament. But it really is this action here, this winding and wrapping around, and then hitting the Uchi Mata action. So it's a little bit different than a straight Uchi Mata. Remember straight Uchi Mata, we come in and there's a lot of hip into it. Well, this was hip too, but this was a little more wrapping movement. So it's a little winding around. So one last time, then we'll be done. All right, so he wraps him around the body, and he lands that Uchi Mata. See, he lands right on. So Derek's going to do a Seoinage. He hops around, and he finishes with an Uchi Mata. And that is one heck of a throw. So Derek, you're coming in, you're hitting in with a Ippon Seoinage. Now, so you're holding with a lapel grip with your left hand, I see, okay. Now as he hops, to avoid, you spin deep in, and you swing in with the Uchi Mata.
So as I'm here, he's already hopped around, and I just have to take a squatty back step. That's it. Boom. And then everything else is just your upward momentum and then twisting.
And really the momentum of him moving around, he's literally walking into the throw.
Right.
Yeah.
And I prefer the lapel, but you can just easily do it with the sleeve.
That's more of a standard Seoinage type attack. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the leg motion is very
We're just working on
Jim
this.
Bregman-esque.
I'm gonna go for something.
Back step, squat, put your placement over your foot so you're not leaning too forward.
Right. That's the classic step in and then lift up. Yeah. So, but again, one thing that makes this very strong is you're controlling a lot with that Seoinage type action where you're hooking your arm under his arm or in the armpit. So can you show that? And then, because that helps make him move around actually.
Right, it's not a fake. I want to throw him with the Seoinage. He's just countering it by hopping. So if I fake it, the seonagi grip, I'm never going to get tight enough to pull
So
it
this
off.
is actually a classic example of a continuation move, what the Japanese call a rinzoku waza. You're continuing on into another move from maybe the initial one.
Right. I
So-
think of it as a win-win. If I get you with the seonagi, great. If I don't, you hop around, I'm going to hit his back step and hit you with the Uchi Mata.
Okay, can you do it one more time? So you come into your seonagi, he hops around, and he creates this very nice Uchi Mata, Hanigoshi, Haraigoshi, you know.
And it kind of depends on where your hips are placed. You know, if I happen to get more over here, it's usually more of a hanigoshi. If I'm strictly perpendicular, it's usually way more of
Of an Uchi Mata because you're hitting the inside leg, yeah. So but that initial come in, that seonagi is a very tight one. I want to key in on it just again for a minute. So you're coming into the seonagi, and you lock in.
whichever way my hands are, it doesn't matter.
That happens.
Get a hold of that arm.
And you never let go of that. That stays, okay?
This stays right here. He can hop around all he wants. I don't care. I'm just going to step in
And catch it, and catch it. So that's really keeping him, making him come up on your hip even better. Very clean. This is an Uchi Mata to start. This is a great move. If the guy on Eric on the left there if he's on his knees and he's dumb enough to come up on one knee, not dumb enough, but he's inexperienced enough or whatever, and he comes up on one knee, Donnie's saying a silent thank you and is going to launch him into orbit. Okay, so you just Donnie, take it from there. You're the coach, so.
You want me to?
All right, yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Oops, sorry.
Now that was an ippon. That was a great throw. He comes up.
And from here, we're already here. We're already here. Okay?
And the reason we're showing that as a follow-through, you could pin them as well, probably, but right now the Jujigatami, as we've been working on tonight, a lot of times in Judo or Sambo, you're not going to get like an ippon for the throw, even though it could be a very hard throw. A lot of times it'll be a wazari, a four-pointer or something. So you want to follow up with it with a good submission technique, or pin, but in this case a submission technique. So come up on your left knee again, Eric, so he could see, and he just drives right in with a standard Uchi Mata. But notice he's going to be lifting with his right leg against really Eric's left inner thigh, really, when he comes into it.
And I think probably a key is when his foot's down, if you're thinking of doing this or the Osoto guard, you want him to stand up. And he's going to stand up with one leg at a time. So if he's just on his knees and I want him to stand up, I'll pull him my way. And if I want this leg to come up, I'll pull him with my right arm this way. And then he gives me that leg, right? From here, I'm going to step in and throw, but I'm anticipating that leg coming up. So as soon as I feel it coming up, I'm going to go in. I'm not going to wait for him to stand that foot up and then think, okay, now I'll go. Because now it's probably too late. So I'm going to come this way, here, and as soon as he's here, boom, boom.
Wizard style Uchi Mata. It's a one-handed Uchi Mata, but just watch Derek here. He's going to overhook. He catches a whizzer, so you can see that overhook there. Got that? Okay. Now watch what he does. He posts his hands and does an Uchi Mata, and he rolls it through. And it looks like Mike's jumping for him. Mike's not jumping for him. Mike's getting thrown. Overhook, come in there, and you end up right on top. And that is an Uchi Mata from a whizzer style. And again, it's an adapted sambo move, because we have a sambo move there where we do the rolling knee bar. Show that rolling knee bar then, Derek. We have that. You can see that. This is a variation of that. It's an Uchi Mata, inner thigh throw, by grabbing there and catching the roll and coming on top. So we wanted to show this very quickly here because we were training on it, and Greg Humphrey's here, and we think a lot of sambo when Greg's here, and do a lot of sambo when Greg Humphrey's training with us in the gym, and there we have it. So overhook, come and catch, and there we have it. Nice Uchi Mata, and you roll. When you roll, show how you rolled with your shoulder there one more time. When you come in there, and when he does this, he dives in. Now watch
See, his right hand is overhooked. He rolls over that right shoulder and makes Mike fall forward.
The shoulder and take a roll.
Yeah,
It's basically like,
there you go. And that's the movement you'll use to throw the guy. And your body momentum and the leg sweep with the Uchi Mata does it. With the like the hinari, the twisting throw. Okay, just come on in and run us through it. And there you finish it. So you're doing the twisting throwing technique, and you add that at the very last second. You don't make it a big move at first. We were talking about this.
like the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
Yeah, it's the cherry that adds a little flavor. In this case, adds a little more power into the throw, too.
Right. And you'll notice when he comes over, I'm rolling on top of him, not on top of myself.
Correct. So you haven't initiated this. This isn't like a classic Uchi Mata attack.
I'm not like
You're not coming in that leg first. You're spinning in. And like the spinning throw, okay, the twisting throw, and at the very last second when you're grabbing the leg and you come in, add that Uchi Mata. But we also want to stress here that an element of control you want to keep is when you turn, your right hand is grabbing his leg. So I'm going to come over here across the crash pad. So when you're coming in, you're still grabbing there. See that hand is still there. Okay. Now as you twist. At the very last second, that's where you add your Uchi Mata. In fact, you did a little early there, just to show for the camera. I understand. Yeah, you've really got to go fast with it. There you go. So that's that hinari twisting action, throwing action, hinari nagi as we called it. But there you add the Uchi Mata with it. It's almost hard to catch on the camera because it's so fast.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I'll see if I can slow it down a little bit.
There you go. When you do, you tend to not have that full momentum. You actually have to point that toe, and your leg is bent.
Right.
You don't want it bent. You want it nice and straight when you sweep. Just keep doing a few of them. We'll catch it on camera here. There you go. I'll come with a different angle. So it's that twisting throw we've been doing earlier tonight, and now we're just adding. There you go. You can see how the Uchi Mata addition, that inner thigh is coming across there. Now that is that's an Uchi Mata from hell. That is quite nice. It could be like in sambo rolling knee bar, but it's really kind of an Uchi Mata if you were just doing judo. Of course, this wouldn't be allowed in the IJF, the International Judo Federation, because they don't allow leg grabs, but we can do this certainly in freestyle judo, AAU judo, or submission grappling, or let's say you're doing this in sambo or any type of jiu-jitsu, you just don't want him to go for the knee bar. Do the one where you show the knee bar first, where we've been working on lately. So when we come in and we roll in, boom, and you can see how he finishes with a nice straight knee bar. Okay, we do that quite a bit. Let's do this one where Mike would just come in and he chooses not to do the knee lock. He's going to come right over the top. Now as he does, I'm going to switch around here, guys. As he comes into a side control position, a munigatami. But look what he's doing. He's tied him up so nice and tight. Okay, now from here, he just keeps wrapping him up. He holds him for his time. He starts coming over, and he finishes with a really nice juji coming around just around the clock. Okay, just around the world there. Let's look at it again. He comes in as Uchi Mata, rolls him, hops over, and he just keeps turning around, and he finishes out. Uchi Mata throw. The throw is Uchi Mata. But if your opponent tries an outside leg hook like Kosotogaki, and you throw with the Uchi Mata. And the drill is this. You can see Eric just sticks his leg and hooks it, and there he's doing on Vlad. So Derek's going to stick his leg and hook, and as soon as he does, Vlad feels that, he attacks. So we're working on a counter to Kosotogaki, minor outer hook, with an Uchi Mata. It's a very common counter. And it's a good counter. It works quite well. So if someone does attack you with an outside leg hook, Kosotogaki, you catch him with Uchi Mata. And this drill is a good one where as soon as he hooks, you toss him. So the person getting thrown is just giving the leg, just in practice here. So the thrower gets the feel of doing a counter, Uchi Mata counter to the Kosotogaki. Leg grab, if your opponent grabs your leg and real tight, and he like a wrestler, he dives into it, like a single leg attack, And what Derek's going to do to Steve here, he'll grab and use kind of Steve's momentum in the single leg to spin and do an Uchi Mata. Okay? So just real, well, go ahead and do, whatever you want to speed you want to, Derek, and then I'll catch in and you talk it through, whatever. So Steve grabs, and there's your Uchi Mata. So what happens is, when the guy dives in, and he's going to commit, he's shooting. Now, when he does that, you grab and grab. So get handles if you're Derek, okay? So in this case, you can grab the sleeve, grab the lapel, whatever cloth you can get, because he's kind of initiated this. This is a counter move. So, but the key thing here is his right hand is on, at some point on Steve's left side, his shoulder, his lapel, his elbow, whatever. And Derek's left hand is grabbing the belt, deep into the back, the gi, whatever. Now you can see Steve is committed. He's grabbed that. He's sunk it in deep. It's a deep single, okay? Now what Derek's going to do is simply use that momentum, forward momentum, and spin and do an Uchi Mata. He's going to swing him right over his leg, just like that. So it's hard to do when they were doing standing by themselves, but that was pretty good. But it takes the momentum to throw. It's a momentum type thing. And that's a really cool move to get. So when he sinks it a lot, there you go. And it's just he attacks with a single leg. And often when they do a single leg, their head will be on the inside. And there's Uchi Mata. A lot of times you'll see these wrestlers or guys who drop in really low and they'll hug your ankle. And they'll do it like a takedown from there. Or they could just dive in and they want your ankle, okay? Okay, so that's the scenario. So Steve, start that again. Dive in, just, shoot low, grab for the ankle. And he's trying to pick it up, and he's going to take him down, maybe even roll into an ankle lock or something. So what Derek wants to do is immediately latch on, and he's going to do an Uchi Mata with his left leg on Steve's right arm. So I'm going to come around here so everybody can see it. And you notice Steve is grabbed around. Now Derek's just going to step back and do an Uchi Mata. And that's it. And he's on top of him, isn't he? Okay. I saw this first time, and I'm trying to think. It might have been Sean Watson. I can't remember. About 20 years ago, a guy in the club shot in exactly like that on Sean, and Sean did exactly that. He spun, he did an Uchi Mata on his arm, and then sat on him. And that's exactly what that is. Okay, so he shoots in low, grabs, he gets a good handle, Derek does, and he spins and he goes. Now, he's going to keep a hold of your arm or your leg because he wants it, okay? Now, if he lets go, he kind of bails out, he kind of gets out of trouble. But that's where you keep him hooked in. The big thing here is get handles with your hands. See, he's got a good grip, okay? That gi really helps. I think no gi, it probably would be difficult to do. But certainly with a gi, you've got a lot of handles. Grab the belt, the jacket, whatever you got, okay? Okay, and all he does is hop back, and look at that, he does Uchi Mata on the arm. Okay, and he spins it, bam, and there you go. It isn't spectacular, cool, or whatever, but, it does work. And there you have it. So shoot, come in, bam, there you go. So if a guy's a low shooter, there you have Uchi Mata on the arm.